Hi everyone. So I just want to make this video to kind of explain how I converted my 1996 Ford E-150 camper club wagon into just kind of a different type of camper. I'm going to do my best to try to explain everything and then put in the clips that correspond. And if I don't have a clip that corresponds, I'll just try to paint a very vivid picture for you with my words. So I fell into a 1996 Ford club wagon with 115,000 miles, which I thought was like terrific. The miles were good. I needed some work, but I mean, mechanically, it was pretty sound, and it was totally camper. It had TV, the AV system. It had a vacuum cleaner. It had some crazy stuff. I decided like I didn't want any of that, and I was gonna strip it down like to the metal. First day I was kind of going at it full steam ahead, ripping everything out. Oh my god, there were so many wires, it was insane. I couldn't even believe it. I was just like cutting shit, and I was trying to label everything. I did a really shitty job at labeling. With vans like that, old, I guess even new ones where they're all teched out, when you start pulling away all the panels and stuff, it's like a nest of wires and nasty, like, it's old crusty insulation, and it was kind of gross. But yeah, I mean, long story short, I kind of just busted through it and cut stuff, ripped stuff down. In hindsight, like, I wish I maybe did a better job of saving things. That's not the biggest deal anyway. So lesson one, like, label the wires that you're ripping out, because they all led to a fuse box. And like, oh my god, it was just insane. Next up, oh yeah, the carpet. That actually is the one thing stencil wise that I saved, that I was like very glad that I saved. So thing to note number two, if you're converting a van and you have a carpet in there, cut it out in one piece and just save that, like, because that will help so much when you're laying the subfloor. But anyway, yeah, so there were some bolts that were holding the middle row of seats in that I could not get out to save my life. Like, I tried, because I had to bring it to the mechanic, and they got the bolts out. But after that, I was able to, cut out the rug, pull it out, save it. And then the next step I did was lay some 1x3s. Oh shit. So before that, what did I do? Oh yeah, okay, so the bolt holes. Yeah, so I grinded away. There is a little bit of rust, it's understandable. I live in a humid environment, so rust happens. But I mean, it was pretty simple. I just ground around it. Got rid of the rust around the holes. I didn't have much surface rust, to be honest, on the whole floor. It was just around the bolt holes. So I grinded that down. And then I put like Rust-Oleum to prevent more rust from coming back. And then I kind of patched it up by putting little pieces of metal that I cut out. I just kind of patched up the holes and just adhese that, silicone that in so that no moisture could get through. But anyway, back to lay out the 1x3s, and that gives you little channels where you can lay, whatever type of insulation you did. I'm not living in this van. This is kind of just a camper, so I didn't go too hard with the insulation, but I used foam board, like from Home Depot. I just laid that in strips across in between the 1x3s. Now, what I did with the 1x3s, as I was saying, I didn't screw them down. Instead, what I did was Gorilla glued the shit out of them, because I didn't want to be dealing with screwing through the floor of the van. Then I put in the insulation on the floor. Then I moved on to cutting the subfloor. I used 1/2 inch ply, like CDX, whatever, shitty plywood. And I used the carpet stencil to cut out the floor, put that in, or I screwed these to the 1x3s, and it held fine. Next, what did I do? Oh, so I got a fantastic fan. I think that's like the one everyone uses, the one on Amazon. Basically, I guess an easy way to do it is you get the dimensions of the fan, drill 4 holes up, and then when you go on top of the van, you have your 4 corners and you just kind of connect them, jigsaw it out, and then put the fan in. And what you want to do is you really want to make sure this is weatherproof. Like, you don't want water coming through. So what I did was I just silicone the shit out of it. And then I squashed it down, and then I screwed it in. And then I moved on to the walls. Yeah. So I wanted to frame out the sides of the van. So it's kind of difficult because the van is not like perfectly 90 degrees. It has like some bend to it. So what I kind of did was I got 1x3s, which are 3/4 of an inch. So there is a little bit of play. So what I did was I got metal screws, and I kind of just ribbed the walls with it, and I bent it. I was able to bend the 1x3s to kind of follow the curve of the van, and I just screwed it in to the to the sides. I put in more foam. I didn't want to do spray foam because I wanted to be able to take it apart if I had to, and didn't want to spray foam everything and just be stuck with a mess. So I put the foam in, and then for my walls, I used 1/8 inch ply because I wanted to be able to follow the curve of the van just to maximize my space. So what I did was I kind of eyeball, like, my way of working is, especially when I'm doing something new, is I kind of just like go for it. I kind of just like measured quick, eyeballed it, and then cut out basically just rectangles for the windows, and I like crossed my fingers that it lined up, and it actually did line up. And then what did I do after that? Oh, I think I put in the ceiling. So I kind of, as I said before, like the high top extension on my van had plywood already embedded in it. But what I did was I put more 1x3s along the ceiling to create more of a channel that I could put more insulation in. And then what I did was I got laminate sheeting. I don't know what it is exactly. I'll put a picture here of it. But basically it's flexible, so I could continue with the less rigid building style. I kind of wanted to follow the curve of the high top as well. So what I did was I cut out a square. I cut out a square where the fan was, and then I just screwed the laminate. The laminate sheet was 8 foot by 4 foot, pretty standard. So I just screwed that to the roof, and then I put in the little fantastic insert, I guess, up into it to kind of like cover the edge. So again, like when you are trying to build around the fan, you don't have to be super precise because the fan comes with that insert that you put in there to kind of, it has a lip on it, so it kind of covers anywhere you might have like messed up or whatever. I guess the next big thing that I did after the walls, the ceiling, flooring. The next big thing that I did after the walls, the ceiling, flooring, and I put in the bed frame. So what I did was I screwed in my side pieces to the side to previous framing that I had put in. I built essentially just a giant square that was attached on the side, and then I put in braces to kind of give the bed frame more structure. Then I put some uprights just to support more weight because I didn't want to just rely on having it screwed into the side. So I put that in, and then I realized that the laminate vinyl flooring, it kind of extended pretty far under the bed frame, and I didn't want to. I felt like I was just wasting that. So what I did was I built an inset under the bed frame, so if I wanted to put like a little stool or chair or something, I could just slide it under there. I mean, if I'm having other people sleep in the van with me, like they could pretty much stretch out on the floor and have their feet go under the bed a little bit. What I did after that was I put 1/2-inch plywood on top of the frame so that I could put my mattress on. And then the next step that I did was put in the window, finished up the windows, because right at this point in the build, it was just like holes, and you could literally look down, see the metal insulation, plywood face, some framing, and it was kind of ugly. So I basically just boxed it out, put the box in, and then put like a window frame, and it ended up looking pretty decent. I mean, at this point, after the bed was built, it was kind of just finishing stuff up. The thing is, I actually never got to finish building this van because kind of throughout the duration of building it, I was starting to feel like less comfortable with the size of it. I mean, it's a really great sized van if you're living in it, if you want like space, but for me at least, I wanted something small and like where I could just zoom around and drive wherever. I didn't have to, I could park wherever. I could take it anywhere. And like with this van, I just felt like it had a really big footprint, and it wasn't what I wanted personally. So I kind of decided, like, instead of continuing this build, I actually decided to sell that van, and I bought a new van. I got a GMC Safari. It's the same thing as a Chevy Astro, and it's just closer to the size of something that I wanted. So it just seemed like the right move. But with this new van, I've been making sure to like document super well. So, I mean, that's what's next to come on this channel, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, I had fun with it. I learned a lot, definitely, and I hope that could shed some insight onto your guys' van builds. Yeah, I mean, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Bye.